Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma. I'm Emily, your host. Here we share strategies and inspiration to help you heal and grow with kindness and understanding. Let's dive in. This is Mamahood After Trauma. Hey there, Mama. Before we dive in, I want to remind you to grab your Unlocking Peace Guide, a free resource designed to help you start creating calm, reclaim your peace, and manage your triggers with ease. Head over to my website, the link is in the show notes, to download it now. Oh, hello, Mama, and welcome to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I am thrilled that you have taken some time out of your busy schedule to tune in and listen. Today, we are joined by Anne. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you. I'm looking forward to our conversation today, Anne. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Yep.
Can you introduce yourself to our listeners and share how trauma recovery has been a part of your life?
First of all, I think we'll start back at the beginning. My father passed away when I was 4. Pretty small to really remember very much about what was happening, but I just remember thinking, wow, how are we going to pay bills and how do we have income now if he's not alive anymore? My mom's second marriage was a little bit more than a little bit tricky and did not end well. Learned so much from that, but it created some anxiety and depression for me as I got into my young adult years and trying to navigate that a little bit more. And then, of course, as I'm sure I'm not alone in there's always financial challenges, there's health challenges, things happen. I just got finished talking with a friend that literally had an unexpected accident on a holiday. Took them over a year to recover from it. Wasn't their fault, but still some big ripples out in that recovery time. And I think none of us are immune to it. Things are going to happen. And so I really appreciate your perspective on offering insights to people. Like, how do you, now that something's happened, whatever it is, how do we recover from that, especially while we're trying to navigate being a parent, having children that we're responsible to help take care of them and let them have the best experience we can, even while we're going through our own crazy weather pattern, for lack of better having. It's just sometimes things happen that affect our physical health, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, just let alone the financial and the other ramifications that sometimes pop in there too. So I think part of our journey, when we lost our job, the children were very small, and I remember standing in the kitchen going, again, how do we pay for water and food? And it created a drive in me then to find ways to make sure the house payment was working better for us, that there was income coming in, other things just in case, right? My grandpa would call it keeping your gas tank half full, that you never feel down to your last option. And a friend who'd gone through that really horrific accident and had the recovery time, he said, sometimes we think we're all alone. And so he gave me 3 things that I hope would be valuable to the listeners today. He said, be open-minded that you might need to do things a little bit differently than you have been. For him, that meant that when they were recovering from the burns that happened in the accident, they taught him how to breathe the Lamaze breathing. And as a man, I'm sure he never thought he would be figuring out how to do that. But he said that actually helped more than the more traditional pain medicine and things, just while they were dressing those wounds and trying to recover from the burns. And he also said it's really helpful if you have people around you supporting you, that you
Hmm.
don't feel alone, and that you can talk to someone and ask yourself, what resources do I have now that I'm in this new normal? And he even mentioned there's a word called SCORE, which they call summertime celebration of recovery event. So sometimes you can even build in celebrations. I made it through another
Yeah.
day. I made it through another month. I made it through, to try and help after major upheaval. For us, some of the major upheavals have been financial ones. And so that's my background, is just to offer people financial solutions. I didn't realize we're even out there. And so that's been a real passion of mine. How can we create that income that keeps coming in, even while you're in the middle of all the crazy stuff that inevitably is going to happen if you get to wake up and keep breathing for another day today, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned um, dealing with anxiety and depression as a child. So how did you navigate through that?
not well at first. My friend mentioned to me that just to give ourselves some grace while we're feeling all of those stages of loss and grief,
Mhm.
and oh my word, what do we do, right? Um, and I think that once I really realized that it was okay to feel my feelings, and okay to not be okay, and then
Yeah.
I could I could take those steps to get, I we had a friend tell us about a very good therapist. He helped me find a book that was called the Feeling Good Handbook, and that helped me have a place to write down, I'm feeling this thing happened, and I felt this way about it. And it just kind of helped me connect how I was thinking with my feelings, so that I could then be like, what if there was another way to think about that thing? What if
Mhm.
I don't have to take it quite so personally that someone didn't
Mhm.
respond in the way that I was hoping to whatever I was trying to share with them, or whatever
Mhm.
happened. And I think that that was one of the bigger mindset switches in
Mhm.
my mind, just to be thinking, yes, we've lost the job, or we've had this car accident, but what if there's something I can learn from this?
Yeah.
After you get through the part of your where you're like, oh, why did this happen? How come? Then you can come to a place of, what can I learn from this, and how can I find even just the tiniest thing to be grateful about right
Yeah.
now? My friend, when he was in the burn unit, mentioned that he felt just overwhelmed with the pain for the first few days of it. But then once he could get up and walk around, he realized that there were people that had even worse situations than he did. So, and not that you want to be comparing your owies and the crazy to other people, but it just kind of, he said it gave him some perspective. And I think in my mom's own experience after the divorce that she had, that really helped me to watch her navigating that while I'm in my young adult years and she's in her 40s, going, wow, my life just blew up.
Mhm.
Everything I thought I was doing went a major left turn,
Mhm.
and now we're in this a new normal.
Mhm.
And as she started talking with people and getting those resources around her and around her children, um, we had a lot of miracles
Yeah.
and a lot of really beautiful, wonderful things happen, that probably wouldn't have if we hadn't had to go through those very, very hard things. And I think that about our own financial challenges through the years, like six
Yeah.
years, people different at Christmas time when we were like, I don't know what to do. We're still struggling. All of a sudden, things would show up on the doorstep, and it became a way for me to feel like, wow, people may not know exactly what to say or do to help us, but they're aware,
Mhm.
they're trying to be a support. And
Absolutely.
and we have a way to pay it forward to other people. If we've gone through a burn unit or a substance abuse and now we're free of that or whatever it is,
Mhm.
we have really strong available resources and understanding to help
Absolutely.
other people who need our our insight from having gone through that after we're done with the mess, right? Like,
Yeah.
I used to wish that things would never get messy and you'd never have to go through hard things, but I don't know anyone, yeah, no one that has actually not had something really life shaking happen at least
Yeah.
once, if many times. So,
Yeah. So, as you said, things happen. It's just part of life. We can wish and pray and hope that none of those life-shaking things happen, but when it does,
right,
you need the there it's very easy to get eaten alive in the event,
right,
in the heartache or the devastation or the why me or the whatever it might be. So what has your experience been, and how have you held on to even the tiniest of hope?
I think, interestingly enough, often it would be someone knocking on the door and handing me a plate of cupcakes or something. It didn't have to be a really big thing, but it seemed to come at just the right time. And it helped me to feel connected to other
Mhm.
people and to just, I think, have that gratitude, and get a little bit outside of myself. How can I help someone else with what's happened now?
Yeah.
How can I look at this just a little bit differently so that the next time it gets a little bumpy in the road, I'm that much stronger and that much more capable. And I literally would see, um, especially after going through the Feeling Good Handbook and the therapy and the medication that I had during the anxiety and depression at its worst, when I was even suicidal, and and realizing, learning those new ideas and insights and being willing to be teachable and try
Mhm.
things in a different way than I had been. Literally, I could see a year or two later the same things happening, but I was able
Mhm.
to jump over that hurdle and not get side railed by it. And I think sometimes we forget to do that. We forget to look back down the mountain and see how far we've already come. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I do have better financial solutions. I do have better health now. We were able to navigate that accident or that relationship that didn't work out, or we've learned so much. And sometimes I even would make a list that I would keep
Mhm.
in my phone written down, so on the hard days I could remember, oh yeah, that really did help me on the hard
Absolutely.
day. Um, and I'm sure your listeners probably are already aware of like affirmations, where you, instead of saying, I can't do it, I'm not enough, I'm getting down on yourself, you literally can reframe that. Instead of I can't do it, what about the how can I? How can I
Yeah.
figure this out? Or remember when this happened before and we already figured out a solution there, so we're going to figure out another one for this new thing that's just come up and happened. Yeah, we really don't have control over
No,
all
you
the
don't.
things that we thought we do, right? We
Control is
don't,
an
we don't.
illusion.
It's an illusion. So, I think letting go of the control and being willing to remain flexible, um, and
Yeah.
very, very vulnerable with other people too. Like, we don't have to act like we've got it all together. If we don't,
Mhm.
we're it's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is that community, being a part of the right community is crucial. And this is something that I have said time and time and time and time again, over and over and over and over and over, because it makes a huge difference in your ability to heal and build resilience
Yeah,
and get through the tough stuff, because not every day is going to be rainbows and sunshine.
I know, right?
Um,
Right. I love happily ever after, but that
yeah,
usually
me
only
too.
happens in the movies. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
um, and having the ability to not get down on yourself and give yourself grace and be flexible and have the perspective of, well, how can I learn from this challenge that came to my doorstep?
yeah,
Um, and how can I use it to help someone else? And I think those are huge. So, what are one or two action steps or takeaways that you would like to share? Because those were my takeaways. So, what
yeah.
takeaways would you like to gift our listener?
I had someone say to me last week, what if the only thing standing in your way for whatever you want is you? What if the
Oof.
handcuffs in your life are you? But what if the key is right in your pocket and you just need to give yourself a permission slip and be willing to explore things you didn't know that you didn't know? I think our most
Mhm.
expensive thing that we all end up paying for, whether we are thinking about it or not, is the cost of what we didn't know that we didn't know. I,
Mhm.
I didn't know about this health solution. I didn't know about that financial solution. I didn't know, like up until we've moved 15 times in the last 30 years, and I was totally content to just stay in one house and do one job and do, never change anything. We're good. But no. And and because of that, I wanted to find a way to pay the house off, because every time you move, you start over on the dang thing, and so that wasn't getting us anywhere financially. Met a lot of wonderful people in all those 15 different areas, but finally, like 5 years ago, when I was 50 years old, we found something we didn't know that we didn't know, and it helped us to cut our house payment in half and start paying it off really quickly without changing our income and expenses. And for me, after all that crazy financial upheaval and job loss and literally having to start over in 2008 with all that crazy real estate stuff that a lot of people went through, um, that was like a miracle. But I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't have even been looking for
Mhm.
what I didn't know if we hadn't gone through all that crazy upheaval in what I thought was here's my road. I'm just going to follow the right.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's, and like my friend that was in the burn unit, and they're telling him, a man, to learn Lamaze breathing, for heaven's sakes. You know, he could have said, well, no, but instead he was open minded enough to say, you know what? What if there is something I don't know? And let's just try it, right?
Yeah.
have nothing to lose. I might as well try. And I think those are my main takeaways for people. Like, what if we are the only thing standing in our way? And if we,
Yeah.
instead of saying, I can't do it, I don't know what to, and we stay stuck there, circling the
Mhm.
airport, never getting anywhere, what if we just say, how can I instead? How can I
Yeah.
figure out this health challenge? How can I figure out
Mhm.
my recovery from substance abuse? How can I figure out the finances a little better? Or, what is it? How can we figure it out? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the Mamahood After Trauma podcast today, Anne. It was a pleasure speaking with you. How can our listeners connect with you further if they wish to do so?
Oh, Anne at lifegiverlegacy.com or on the website. Lots of the financial toolbox we have are there. But I just love to talk to people about our own journey out of that. Anxiety and depression was such a dark cloud for me for
Hmm.
a while. And it's okay to take a while. Like not everything will happen overnight, but there are helps for just about anything that could happen to any of us. There's somebody knows something to help.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for listening to Mamahood After Trauma. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to grab your Unlocking Peace guide from the link in the show notes to start your healing journey with practical tools. Remember, Mama, you're not alone in this. Together, we're mending the past so mamas can mama in peace. See you next time.